The today southern Swedish provinces of Skåne, Blekinge and Halland were central parts of the Danish kingdom, but were conquered by Sweden in the 1600s. The medieval law for these regions was called the Scanian law, and is preserved in several manuscripts. The most famous of these manuscripts is Codex Runicus, written entirely in runes. Apart from containing the Scanian law, it also has the Scanian church law, a treatise about the Swedish and Danish border, and a king's chronicle.
Stjal bånda thräl något, och varder tacken med. Tha före hin tacket haver, han till things, och fa thigat hos bånde hans bod. Will bånden thräl a, gen komma, och gjalde för thräl, så mycket som han vill, och a tyltar ed, och twigga manna Whitney, till dess att han vara löpstigig, och hod av thrälig, eller han löse, med öre thräla. Will ej bånden, gen komma, och sva löse sin thräl, fa havi, hinner han haver tacket, twigga manna Whitney, till dess att sen thräl thjover hans, och faddom av thingmannum, och hänge upp han. Will brytti, ej skara band av them thjovi, ej skall upphängja, tha döme thingmen band av hanum, och bånden han haver tacket, skärre själver band av hanum med thingmanna dome, och var sedan sacklös för konungs ombudsmanne. So, a translation. Stjal bånda thräl något, steals farmer's slave something, och varder tacken med, and is taken with it. Here, varder is the present tense of varda, which means to become, becomes taken with it. Tha före, hin tacket haver, han till thinks. Then shall bring the one who taken has him to thing, the assembly. Och fa thigat hos bånda hans bod. And get, fa means to get. Thigat is from the verb thigja, to receive. Receive to the farmer his message, bod. Will bånden thräl a gen komma. Will, which means to want, the farmer that owns the slave, agree, respond, to appear. Here the preposition gen works in a kind of in response to sense. Och gjalde för thräl, sva mycket som han vill, and pay, gjalde, in subjunctive, which is related to English yield, for the slave as much as he will, wishes. Och a tylter ed och twigga manne Whitney, till dess att han var a löpstigig. And have an oath of 12 men, and witness of 2 men, that he was on leap trail, literally. That, which means that he was on the run. Och hod av thrälig, eller han löse med öre, thräl a. And literally, dative singular, hide of slave, meaning skin, which means to be whipped. And he who owns him otherwise pay with öre, which means money. Löse literally means to lease, to lose, to make him, to like release him with money. Will ej bånden gen komme, och sva löse sin thräl. Will not the farmer respond or arrive and pay for his slave? Tha havi hin han haver tacket, twigga manna Whitney, till dess att sen thräl thjover hans. Then in this case, havi is in subjunctive here. The one then have the one who has taken him witness of 2 men that he was his thief. Och fa dom av thingmannum, och hänge upp han. And get judgment of the thingmen, the men of the assembly, dative plural. And hang him up, subjunctive, hängi upp han. Will brytti ej skara band av them thjovi, ej skall upphänga. Will bailey for foreman, will ej skara, which is not cut. The verb skara is related to English shear. Bond of the thief, dative singular, av them thjovi, ej skall upphänga. Not shall uphang, literally. he shall not be hanged up. Tha döme thingmen band av honom. Then deem, judge, the thingmen, the men of the assembly, bonds of him. Och bonden han haver tacket, skere själver band av honom. And the farmer who has taken him, cut in skere here is subjunctive, himself själver, band av honom, bonds of him. Med thingmanna dome, with the judgment of the thingmen, och worry, and be subjunctive, sidan sacklös, and be innocent. Sacklös means innocent, for a konungs ombudsmanne, before the king's official. The word bonde means farmer or free man, but mostly just a free man in general in medieval Scandinavia. Today it means farmer in modern Scandinavian, but it was a more general word in medieval Scandinavia. Thräl means slave or unfree man, and it's found in English as thrall. Twigga manna Whitney is the genitive plural form, twigga manna. Tyltar ed. Here the word tyltar is a special word meaning 12, which is usually found in the laws. Dom, a noun. Döma, a verb. Judgment and to judge, which are related to English doom and deem. Böta, related to bought, pay a fine to compensate. It originally meant to improve or to better, because in these times laws were more, because in Scandinavia laws were seen as a kind of compensation system. Bryti is a word meaning slave, foreman or bailiff. The manager, like the foreman of the workforce. Själver is the nominative form of self. 12 hors, göra ståd, och 12 nöt, hjord, och 12 svin, och rad. Tackar man granne sins ök, en eller två, i akrum eller engjum, eller annat fe, om sätter minne, en hjord, late mäle ackerspjall, och gjalde korngjald med. En ede sinum, att hans fä gjorde ej mer skada, att ty inname. Siger han att han haver fangit skada av hans fä, tha säljer han tredje mans ed fore. Siger han fä att det var tacket av flott, och ej akrum eller engjum. Dyle hinner det haver tacket med tredje mans ed, eller han böte 2 öre om han gar wither. To translate, 12 hors, göra ståd, och 12 nöt, hjord, och 12 swin, vrad. 12 horses make a horse herd. This word is related to English stud and steed. 12 cows, here nöt is the word for cattle in general, make a herd. And 12 swina, vrad, which is a very old and rare word meaning herd of swine. Tackar man granne sins ök, takes a man his neighbor's draft animals. En eller två, 1 or 2, i akrum eller engjum, in field, which is related to acre in English, or meadows, eller annat fä, or other livestock. The word fä is the same word as English fee, and it not only meant livestock but also wealth, which means that it gradually changed meaning in English from livestock to paying. Om sätter minne en hjord, if that is smaller than herd. Late mäle ackerspjall, let measure. Here mäla means to measure. Literally acre spill, damage to crops. Och gjalda korngjald med. And pay grain money, grain debt with. En ede sinum, one, himself one alone, with his oath. Att hans fä gjorde ej mer skada, att ty inname. That his livestock did no more harm from the removal. Ty inname. Here the word innam means off-taking. That the livestock did no more harm from the remover when he got there and remove the animals from the field. Säger han att han har fanget skada av hans fä, says he that he has gotten. Fanget here is a form of the verb fa. Skada, scathe, harm from his cattle. Damage or harm from the cattle in the field. Tha selli, then he sell subjunctive. And the word sell in Germanic originally meant to hand over or produce. Han tredje mans ed for det. He shall produce or hand over a third man's oath for it. 3 men's oath. Siger han fä a, att det var tacket av flott. If he who owns the livestock says that it was taken in float, literally, water, och ej i akrum eller engium, and not in field or meadow, dyli, hinner det havir tacket med tredje mans ed. The verb dylja means to hide or conceal here in subjunctive, and here it means deny or protect, who has taken it with 3-man oath. Eller han böta 2 öra om han gar wither, or repay with 2 öre, literally translates to goes along next to it. But here it means gar wither, here means admits to it. The word wrath is a very archaic word for herd of swine. It's only otherwise found in Gothic and Old English within Germanic, and it has cognates outside of Germanic and other Indo-European branches. Fä is as said cognate with English fee, and it's the same word as Latin in pecco. Ök is derived from the same root as yoke through ablaut, and it means, as I said, draft animal, like a pair of oxen or something. Akrum eller engium, dative plural, on field or meadow, where akr is the same word as English acre. Att thy inname, dative singular, in taking, literally. And it's related to the verb nima, which means to take, through ablaut. And here it means removal, when he removes the animals from the field. Codex Runicus also has a Chronicle of Danish kings, some of them being largely legendary. This is just a small part of a long list. Tha var reginar konung, Lothbråke. Han gjorde mange dyre gärninga och hade 12 syner. Tha var Erik konung, först kristen av Danmark och Sankto Anskario. Tha var Lotta Knut konung, han då heden. Tha var Frode konung, han vann England. Tha var Gorm konung, enske. Tha var Gorm konung, Gamli och hans drottning Thyri. Tha var Harald Blatan Kristin. Tha var Sven Tjohoskegg. Tha var Knut Gamli, han förde först klostermän i Danmark. Tha var Magnus konung, Olafsson. Tha var Sven konung, Estredoson. This means, then was Ragnar king Lothbrok. He made many great deeds and had 12 sons. Then was Eric king, first Christian of Denmark, of Saint Ansgar. Then was Lotta. I'm not sure exactly what this means. I think it's an explanation having to do with Lot. Knut king, he died a heathen. Then was Frode king, and he won England. Then was Gorm king, the English. Then was Gorm king, the old one, and his queen Thyri. Then was Harald Bluetooth Christian. Then was Sweyn Forkbeard. Then was Knut the old one, king. He first brought the monastery men to Denmark. Then was Magnus king, Olaf's son. Then was Sven king, Estreda's son. There is also a very long description of the border between Sweden and Denmark that goes through a very long list of specific places where the border is. And it starts: Här börjas landamärke mellan Danmark och Sverige. Ömunder Slema var konung i Uppsalom, Sven Tjohoskegg i Danmark. The satt och rifter mellan riken, mellan Sverige och Danmark. Nu nämndes av Sveriki, Ragnvaldi av Tiindalande, Båtwither av Hälsingalande, Båte av Fjädrundalande. It roughly goes as, here begins landmarks between Denmark and Sweden. Ömund Sleme was king in Uppsala, Sweden. Sweyn Forkbeard in Denmark. They set the borders between the kingdoms, between Sweden and Denmark. Now are mentioned of Sweden Ragnvald of Tiundaland, Botvid of Hälsingeland, Bote of Fjädrundaland, and so on.